Hello guys, good morning. You are welcome to my YouTube channel, the Explicit Tutorials, and my name is Dr. Joseph. In today's video, I'll be taking us PBB 111, a topic called Pteridophyte or the seedless plants. Please, as you are watching this video, endeavor to subscribe, like, share, and comment. And secondly, I will advise you click the notification bell so that when I upload the new content, you will be aware. In this topic, we shall be treating differences between Pteridophyte and the Bryophytes. Now, the Pteridophytes are seedless, the Bryophytes are seedless. That is what they have in common. But the differences are one, the Pteridophytes they have vascular bundles, but the Bryophytes do not have what vascular bundles. The Bryophytes they have leptoids and hydroids, but Pteridophytes they don't have leptoid and what hydroids. So those are what the differences. The similarities are one, the both of them are what seedless. I think it's in the one they share. Okay, they are seedless, and two they undergo alternation of what generation. That is, they have the sporophytic stage and they have what the gametophytic stage. In bryophytes, the gametophytic stage is dominant, while the sporophytic stage is what recessive. But in pteridophytes, the recessive stage is actually the gametophytic stage, while the dominant stage is what the sporophytic stage. So please take note of that. Now, right now, I'm going to be giving the general features of the pteridophyte. General features of what the pteridophyte. One, they have stomata. Now, this stomata that the pteridophytes possess enhances or it prevents the excess loss of water from the plant. Okay, that is, it prevents the excess loss of water from the plant. Please take note of that. And secondly, I said something just now that they undergo alternation of what generation. The sporophytic stage or the sporophytes are recessive. Okay, they are dominant. Since it's pteridophytes, they are what dominant, while the gametophytes are what recessive. All right, so these ones are recessive while these ones are what dominant. Okay, and apart from that, pteridophytes they have chlorophyll. They have chlorophyll A and B and carotenoid. Right, so these are the general characteristics of the pteridophytes. They have what stomata that prevents the excess loss of water from the plants, and the sporophytes I said are dominant, while the gametophytes are what recessive. I said they have chlorophyll A and B and what carotenoid. These are the pigments that enhance what photosynthesis. Okay, number four, they are principally made up of cellulose cell wall. Okay, which means that their cell wall is made up of what? Cellulose. Okay, number five, they store carbohydrate. Okay, they store food or carbohydrate as what? Starch. Now, when I was excuse me, when I was taking what is, I'm trying to remember this stuff now. When I was teaching us the protista, that is Chidon protista or Chidon prototista. Now we have different algae. We have the red algae called rhodophyta. We have the green algae called chlorophyta. We have the brown algae called charophyta. We have the charophyta, which are the stoneworts, and we have the parophyta, and we have the cryptophyta. The cryptophyta have peculiar what characteristics, and we have the primnesophyta. Now my emphasis is on that primnesophyta. The primnesophytes or the haptophytes, they store carbohydrates as what? Laminarine. Alright, that is the haptophytes. Now I've treated this topic already. I'm just trying to lay emphasis on This very one. They stock carbohydrate as what? Laminarin. That is the haptophyte or the prenesophyte. But the pteridophyte is stock carbohydrate as what? Starch. Then the euglenoids, that is euglenophytes, they stock carbohydrate as what? Paramylon. You can see difference paramylon. The euglenoids or euglenophyta, or that is euglenoids are the organisms under division euglenophyta. They stock carbohydrate as what? Paramylon. While the chlorophyta stock carbohydrate as what? Starch. Okay, as what? Starch. Even the cryptophyte also store carbohydrate as what? Starch. Take note of that. Now, number 6, the gametophytes. The gametophytes of these guys could be photosynthetic. They could be what? Photosynthetic, or they derive their nutrients from the soil. They could have the ability to produce their own food, or they derive their nutrients from the soil. Please take note, these sporophytes are always photosynthetic. They are long and what? Long-lived. Alright, they are long in structure, and they have a very long life span. Take note of that. They are always what? Photosynthetic. They produce their own food. Okay, I said the gametophyte could be photosynthetic, or they derive their nutrients from the soil. And this pteridophyte, they have the rhizome. The rhizome is what? An underground what? Stem. Now this rhizome produces what? The rhizoid. Now this rhizoid is what? An absorptive structure. It helps in absorbing what? Water. Okay, so please take note of that. So these are the general features of what? The pteridophytes. Now let us now look at exactly, that reminds me, please, before I give us the divisions, the vascular bundles, the pteridophytes are arranged differently. And please take note of this. The tracheophytes emanate from seedless plants. The tracheophytes are the angiosperms and the gymnosperms. They are the tracheophytes, and they are believed to have originated from the seedless plant, which are the pteridophyte and what? The bryophyte. Okay, please take note of that. Now the vascular bundles in pteridophytes are arranged differently. Okay, we have one called the protostele. The protostele is a type of arrangement in which there's what? A solid central column in the stem without what? Pith. Okay, sorry, without. Now, a pteridophyte is said to be protostele when there is a solid central, I said central, I'm writing control. What kind of village something is this now? Alright, I said a pteridophyte is said to be a protostele when there is one or a solid central column. That is central means what? Middle. And this protostele lacks what? A pith. P-I-T-H. It does not have what? The pith. A protostele is a pteridophyte whose stem has a central solid column that lacks what? Pith. A good example is found in Lycopodium. Lycopodium has this type of what? Stele. The stele is a combination of the xylem and the phloem, and sometimes the pericycle. Okay, stele is the combination of the xylem and the phloem, which are the vascular bundles, and sometimes the what? The pericycle. Take note of that. Now, Lycopodium possesses a type of stele called what? Protostele. And two, we now also have what? The dinostele. Okay, the dinostele is produced when the xylem is found forming a cylinder around a hollow medium, that hollow medium is called what? A siphon. All right. The dinosteel. Okay, I think it should be siphonosteel. Siphonosteel. This is the right word. Siphonosteel. I said it is a type of steel in which the xylem forms there is a cylindrical structure around a hollow space called what? Siphon. And this type of steel has what? Pith. This one has pith, but protosteel does not have what? Pith. Diphono is a type of steel in which the xylem forms a cylinder around a hollow space called what? Siphon. Called what? I said this one lacks pith. Because of this arrangement, the xylem are found on the two sides of what? The phloems are found on the two sides of what? The xylem. If the xylem forms a cylindrical structure around the hollow, then the phloem are found on the two sides of what? The hollow. Take note of that. On the two sides of what? The xylem. A good example of organism that possesses siphonosteel is what? The Marsilia. Okay, the Marsilia possesses what? The Marsilia possesses a diphono and this diphono has what? Pith. But the protosteel does not have what? Pith. The protosteel is Lycopodium. Diphono is to what? Marsilia. Okay. Now we also have what is called dictyosteel. A dictyosteel. Okay, a dictyosteel is a type of steel in which there's a separate concentric vascular bundles. Oh God. The protosteel is a type of steel in which there is a solid central column having what? That is having no pith. It does not have pith. A good example is Lycopodium. Then the diphono is a type of steel in which the xylem forms a cylinder around a hollow structure called the siphon, and the pith is present, and the phloems are found on the two sides of what? The xylem. A good example is what? The Marsilia. Then the dictyosteel is a type of steel in which there is a separate concentric vascular bundles on a what? Separate structure. This type of steel is possessed by Pteridophytes. Alright, Pteridophytes. Take note of that. That is a type of dictyosteel that it possesses. Take note of that. Or they possess. I think we are done with the arrangement of vascular bundles in what? The Pteridophytes. Now let us look at the divisions of. We have 4 divisions of seedless plant called Pteridophytes. There are 4 divisions, but because of time, I'll take the first 2 types of divisions. We have division Coelophyta, and 2 we have division Lycopodiophyta, and we have division Equitophyta, and we have 4. We have division Pteridophyta. Now these are the different types of divisions. Okay, the Coelophytes excuse me, Now the Seedless are also called whisk what? Fence. Okay. Now this that is the lycopods or the lycopodiophytes are also called club and spike mosses. Alright, club and spike mosses. Then why the equicetophyta is also called what? Sphenophyta. And that is where you have what? The horse tail. Alright, the horse tail. Then, so in today's video, I'm going to be taking on the first two types of what divisions, the Seedless and what? The Lycopodiophyta. Okay, now let us analyze this first one first. Now, Seedless. What do we know about this division? The most commonly known members of this Seedless are one, the Cotyledon nudum and the Mesipteris. Okay, Mesipteris. And so these are the the most commonly members of this word division. Cotyledon nudum and what? Mesipteris. Okay, take note of that. Now, what are the features of this division? One, they contain the most primitive vascular bundles. The most primitive vascular. They contain the most primitive vascular bundles. Take note of that. Primitive vascular bundles. Then, two, they are the smallest type of plants. All right, they are the smallest type of plants ever discovered. They are the smallest. And three, they have rhizome. They have rhizome, which gives rise to the rhizoid. I told us that the rhizoid is what? Is for water absorption. It's an absorptive organ. Okay. Then three. Okay, that is four now. The rhizome, that is this rhizome possessed by them. The rhizome and the area roots. Roots meant for what? Oxygen intake. The areas, let me use stem now. Area stem have let me say they have apical cells. These apical cells, they have the ability to divide continuously, and they function as what? The meristematic cells. You know, meristematic cells are cells that have the ability to undergo what? Cell division, and their tissues are undifferentiated. They undergo what? Cell division. They have distinct what? Nucleus, and they have a dense cytoplasm and large vacuole. So please, the rhizome and the area stem have what? Apical cells that divide continuously, acting as what? Meristematic what? Cells. Take note of that. Number five, these guys, they have cortex. They have what? Cortex. The cortex has the innermost part. The innermost part of this cortex is called what? The endodermis. The endodermis is usually the part that regulates the uptake of what? Nutrients. The inner part of the cortex, called what? Endodermis, regulates the uptake of what? Nutrients. Take note of that. Now, secondly, when the stem of a pteridophyte is cross-sectionally cut, you have what? The cortex. And the cortex has a lot of parenchymal cells. And these parenchymal cells found in the cortex are capable of producing their food, and they have a lot of chloroplast in them. So I said the inner part of the cortex is called what? Endodermis, which regulates the uptake of what? Nutrients. Now I said that the cortex has a lot of what? Parenchymal cells, and these parenchymal cells have a lot of what? Chloroplast for what? Photosynthesis. Please take note of that. Now the cortex can be found in the stem. When the cortex is found in the stem, they enhance photosynthesis. Right, when the cortex is found in the stem, it enhances photosynthesis. Then when they say cortex is found in the rhizome, when this cortex is found in the rhizome, it helps in storing food. That is, it enhances the storage of what? Food molecules. Because normally the rhizome is what? A storage organ that grows underground horizontally. A good example of organisms that use rhizome for food storage are, even for reproduction, it's also used for what? Reproduction. Okay, examples are Pensetor purpureum, which are the elephant grass, and the Canna indica, which are what? The canna lily. They use rhizome for reproduction. Okay, and this rhizome is also used, it's also what? An underground stem that acts as what? A storage organ. It also acts as what? Reproductive organ, like in Pensetor purpureum, elephant grass, Canna indica, and what? Which is canna lily. There's a reason I keep repeating a word. If when I keep repeating it, it sticks better. Okay, take note of that. You have cortex, the inner part, which is the endodermis. It decides, or it regulates the uptake of nutrients. When the cortex is found in the stem, it enhances what? Photosynthesis. Then when it is found in the rhizome, it enhances the storage of what? Food molecules. Please take note of the differences. Okay. I think that is all for now. Again, let us look at the mode of reproduction that the Coelentophytes undergo. What kind of reproduction do they undergo? Please, this is a part that most students get wrong, because sometimes it could be numerous, you take one for the other. Now let us get started. They undergo asexual type of what? They undergo asexual type of what? Reproduction. Now, the sporangia is what is capable of producing what? Sporangium. The sporangium will now produce spores. The spores will now produce the side. It could be the large type of spore called the megaspore, or the small type of spore called what? We'll get it. Let us take it easy. Now, when this sporangia occur in trees, they fuse themselves together in trees. They are called what? Synangium or synangia, which means that the cluster of sporangia produces what? Synangia. Synangia is plural, while synangium is what? Singular. Now, this synangia produced will now form diploid spore mother cells. Look at, I'm using arrow to indicate it now for a better understanding. Sporangia occur in trees to form what is called a synangium. This synangium will now produce what? The diploid spore mother cells. Now these diploid spore mother cells will undergo what? Meiosis. To produce what? A 4 myospores. These diploid mother cells will undergo what? Meiosis to produce what? 4 myospores. Now this myospore, upon germination, Okay, no. As soon as these myospores are produced, they are blown away by the wind. They are blown away by the wind. As soon as the wind blows them, they will now what? Germinate. Okay, let me put germinate here. They will germinate to form what? The gametophytic stage. You can see how it goes. Now, this gametophytic stage will now produce what? Gametes. As soon as these gametes are produced, which means we have the female gamete called egg and we have the male gamete called sperm or atherizoid. The fusion of the egg and the atherizoid produce what? The diploid sporophyte. So look at it, this is how it goes. So what I just explained now is the asexual mode of what? Reproduction of what? The coelentophyte. Look at it. The sporangia will occur in threes called what? Synagium. This synagium will now produce what? A diploid spore mother cells. Now these diploid spore mother cells will undergo meiosis. As soon as they undergo meiosis, they now produce what? 4 myospores. Now these 4 myospores will be blown away by the wind. They germinate and produce what? The gametophytic stage. Of course, this gametophyte will now continue. Okay, no, please, no, we cannot put this here, please. These gametophytes produced will now continue what? The sexual mode of what? Reproduction. No, it continues the sexual mode of what? Reproduction. So that is for that. Let us now analyze the sexual mode of what? Reproduction. Now look at it. Okay, I think let me just continue. Now these parts from here like this is what? The asexual mode of what? Reproduction. Now these gametophyte produced will form what? You know, we have the antheridia. The antheridia is the male reproductive organ which produces what? The antherizoid. While the archegonia is the female reproductive organ. I think I'll write it. I don't want to rub off this productive diagram. Let me continue. Now, this gametophyte will produce. We have the male gametophytes, which now produce archegonium. This archegonium produce what? Egg cell. All right, will produce what? Egg cell. Then the female gametophyte called what? And antheridia will produce what? Antherizoid or sperm. Let me use sperm because of space. We produce what? Sperm. As soon as they fuse, this archegonium, which produces what? This egg cell. As soon as this egg cell fuses with the sperm, it forms what? A diploid zygote. It forms what? A diploid zygote. This diploid zygote is sometimes called what? A diploid oospore. Okay, it's not a diploid oospore, right? It produces what? A diploid oospore. Now, this diploid oospore produced will now develop and will germinate to produce what? Sporophytes. Look at it. We stopped here. Now, the archegonium and the antheridia, which are the male and female reproductive organ respectively, the archegonium produce what? Egg cell. Then the antheridia produce what? Sperm or antherizoid, which will undergo fertilization to produce what? A diploid zygote or a diploid what? Oospore. Okay? The diploid oospore. Now this diploid oospore will germinate to produce what? The sporophyte stage. Please, the further development of this sporophyte stage will result to what is called what? Mycorrhizal association. Alright, the further development of these sporophytes produced from this diploid oospore will result to what is called mycorrhizal association. It's a type of association that occurs between the roots of higher plants and what? Fungi. It is the type of association that occurs between the roots of higher plants and what? Fungi. That is what? A mycorrhizal association. So I have given us the members of this division. I said the Slotum, Nudum, and what? Mesipteris. Please take note of that. This is all about the whisk ferns. Okay, they are called whisk fern because they look like what? Whisk brooms. Take note of that. Take note of that. It is very, very important. So this is all about the Slotophytes. I've given us everything: natural reproduction, sporangia occurring as trees to produce what? Synagium. The synagium produces what? Diploid sperm cells, which will undergo what? Meiosis to produce what? 4 myospores. These myospores are blown by the wind. They germinate to produce what? The gametophyte. This is what? The asexual mode of what? Reproduction. Now, these gametophytes, which could be the male or the female, the male produces what? Egg cell, and the female produces what? The sperm cell, which would undergo fertilization to produce what? A diploid zygote, otherwise called what? A diploid oospore. Now, this diploid oospore produces what? The sporophyte. Okay, the sporophyte, upon a further development, result to what is called what? A mycorrhizal association, which is association between the root of higher plants and what? Fungi. Take note of that. So that is all about division Pteridophyta. Now the next one is division Lycopodiophyta. Division Lycopodiophyta as given. My friend, shut up, you are disturbing me. Now, this one is a bit long, but it's easy. Like I said, shut up. Stubborn fowl. I'm telling that fowl to shut up, but still making noise there. Is it now you are crowing? Eh? Let's continue with our class. If I'll slap this fowl, wait some. Now, division Lycopodiophyta. All right, I said these are called the club and spike mosses. These are called the club and spike mosses. Hope it's recording. Thank you, Jesus. It's recording. Yes, I have to check because sometimes I will teach for 1 hour, yet I'm just be talking to myself. No recording, so I check. I love to check. Now, club and spike mosses are otherwise called what? Lycopo. The other Lycopodiophyta. Now, what are the features of these plants? Now, they possess true roots. They possess true roots. They possess true roots. They possess true roots. Yeah. Now, the club moss. A good example of this club moss is the lycopods. Let me differentiate. The lycopods are called club mosses, while the selaginella are called what? The spike mosses. The lycopods are called club mosses, while the spike mosses are called what? The selaginella. Take note of that. Now, two, they have okay. They are also called what? Ground spines. They are also called what? The lycopods. The lycopods are otherwise called what? Ground spines, because they have what? They have spiny leaves. And their leaves are spiral phyllotaxy. Alright? They are called what? Those lycopods are called what? Or the lycopods are called ground spines because they have spiny leaves. Their leaves are arranged from what? Spiral phyllotaxy. The arrangement of leaf is called what? Phyllotaxy. Okay? Now take note of that. Thirdly, they have okay, how do I do this now? Okay, the epidermis. The epidermis of these plants has the stomata, cuticle, and what? Guard cells. Apart from these plants, normally the epidermis, which is the outermost layer of the leaf, is made up of stomata, cuticle, guard cells. And these guard cells have a lot of what? Chloroplast. So cuticle is that cutinized part of all the leaf that prevents the loss of water through what? Evaporation. And the stomata is that part of the leaf that enhances what? Gaseous exchange. The opening and the close of the stomata is controlled by the guard cells. The opening and the close of the stomata is controlled by the guard cells. And the guard cells have a lot of what? Chloroplast in them. Take note of that. Now, okay. Beside the epidermis is what? The cortex. All right. The cortex has a lot of what? Parenchyma cells, like I said before. Parenchyma cells. These parenchyma cells have a lot of chloroplast that enhance photosynthesis. Photosynthesis, okay? Now, between the vascular vascular bundles and epidermis, all right, between the vascular bundles and the epidermis lies the pericycle. All right, which means that the pericycle is found between the vascular bundles and what? Epidermis. And this pericycle gives rise to the adventitious roots. This pericycle, the space between this and this, I said, that's when you have what? Pericycle. This pericycle gives rise to what? Adventitious what? Root. Take note of that. Now, at the middle of the stem, is what? The protostele. And this part has what? A lot of what? Meristematic cells. Meristematic what? Cells, okay? Take note of that. I think for now we are through. Okay. Epidermis, cortex, the innermost part of it has a lot of parenchyma. What is wrong now? What is wrong? Parenchyma. Oh god. Sorry. Parenchyma. Okay. Protostele. Okay, good. Nice one. I of course, you know the function of the meristematic cells. They undergo cell division continuously to produce what? New cells. Now take note of this. Sporangium. See, we have sporangium and we have sporogium. Let me write it here. We have sporogium. This sporogium is pear-shaped. Then sporangium is what? Cone-shaped. Don't take one for the other. Sporogium is what? Pear-shaped. The sporangium is what? Cone-shaped. Now, this sporangium, which is what? Cone-shaped, is found in the leaf. This sporangium is found in the leaf. This leaf is called what? A sporophyll. Look at it. Sporangium is cone-shaped. It's found in the leaf. The leaf in which this sporangium is found is called what? The sporophyll. Now, at the tip of the stem, this sporophyll forms a spike. That spike is called what? Strobilus. I said at the tip of the stem, the sporophyll forms a spike. That spike is called what? Strobilus. The spike formed by by the sporophyll at the tip of the stem is called what? Strobilus. Now, we have the sporophyll produces what? Spores. The sporophyll produces what? Spores. Now, the spores produced, if they are similar in size and shape, you call them what? Homosporous spores. Homosporous what? Spores. Alright? Spores that are similar in size and shape are said to be what? Homosporous. Just leave it like that. Spores that are similar in size and shape are called what? Homosporous. While spores that are different in size and shape are called what? Are said to be heterosporous. Are said to be what? Homosporous, they are similar. The word homo means the same. Hetero means what? Different, okay? Homosporous are similar in size and shape. Heterosporous are different in size and what? Shape. Now, smaller spores. Smaller spores are called what? Microspores. And these microspores are produced by the microsporangia. This is what? The male reproductive organ. Anything about man is always small, micro. I don't understand though. It is well. Microspores are produced by the microsporangia, which is the male reproductive organ. Now, while larger, if smaller spores are called micro, therefore larger spores are called what? Megaspores. Alright, the megaspores are produced by megasporangia, which is what? The female reproductive organ. Mega, always women having larger things. I don't understand how it is well. Now you can see how it's going. Chlorophyll forms strobilus and spores are produced by the sporophyll. Spores that are similar in size are homosporous, while the ones that are different are called what? Heterosporous. Now, smaller spores are called microspores produced by the microsporangia. Larger spores are called what? Megaspores, and they are produced by what? The megasporangia. This megasporangia is the female reproductive organ. The female reproductive organ. Now, the microspore will germinate to form the female gametophytes. When the megaspores germinate, because mega for females, when they germinate, they form what? The female gametophyte. They form the female gametophyte. Then when the microspores germinate, they form what? The male gametophytes. They form the male gametophytes. It does not just stop there. Now these gametophytes, they get to maturity, or they fertilize outside the walls of the spores. When these gametophytes fertilize themselves outside the walls of the spores, they are said to be what? Exosporic. Higher plants, they undergo what? Endosporic, because the spores endosporic, because they are found fertilized inside the wall of the spore. The gametophyte in higher plants, they undergo what? Endosporic type of what? Fertilization is inside the spore, while exo is outside the walls of what? The spores, which means exosporic is to Pteridophytes, while endosporic is what? Higher plants. Now, upon fertilization, when they fertilize, definitely it will produce what? A diploid oospore. Alright, it will produce what? A diploid oospore. It will produce a diploid oospore. Now, this diploid oospore would develop to form what? Sporophytic stage. We form what? This prophytic stage, and this prophytic stage will now undergo meiosis. It will undergo meiosis to produce what? Gameto, okay? Prophytic stage and gametophytic stage. Alright? Please take note of that. Please. Let me quickly explain something. Let me explain something here. The male gametophyte produces what? Egg. While the male gametophyte produces what? Sperm or antherizoid. Now I told us in our initial class that the antherizoid is flagellated. It has what? Flagella for movement. It swims. I told us that in bryophytes, water is needed for what? Fertilization, even in pteridophytes. As soon as the antherizoid is produced, it swims and meets the egg where it fertilizes it to produce what? A diploid zygote or a diploid what? Oospore, which will germinate to produce what? This. Then there's what calls sporangium. The sporangium of this guy will undergo meiosis to produce what? The gametophytic what? Stage. So that is all about the division Lycopodiophyta. These are stories. Take note of not all. Okay, all of them are important. I cannot tell you the one to read and the one not to read. Just play the video over and over again for a better understanding. So at this point, we'll call it a day. Okay, let me give you. We have different species of the Lycopodia or Lycopodium. We have different species of Slangena too. We have Lycopodium obscurum, and we have Lycopodium clavatum, and we have Lycopodium senum. So these are the three species of what? Lycopodium. And we now also have Selaginella we have Selaginella paliscens, and we have Selaginella trifurcata. Alright, which means that the Selaginella paliscens and Selaginella trifurcata are club mosses. Then these three species of Lycopodium are what? Club. Okay, yeah, these ones are spike mosses, and these ones are what? Club mosses. So at this point, we call it a day. Thanks for watching, and please endeavor to subscribe.